Yes, indeed. Iron Fortress is going to be our map number 1 in a pretty sick TVZ.
First game of the day. Always feels good to get it started. Oh, he does have the ECV Pro game tag now.
Oh, yeah.
As if from nowhere.
Oh, I think I do remember them changing how tags were displayed in the most recent patch. So they displayed in-game, but not out of game, basically.
Fair enough.
Some have said that's a glitch. Some have said it's a feature. Some have said that, you know, if you're going to have bugs in a serious competitive title, they could be worse.
It's a very fair point and well made. I have seen more serious bugs and heard of more serious bugs in the last couple of days. Indeed, we actually had the League of Legends casters in our room where we are. Those of you in the know, you know what that is, our secret hideout. Our back cave, if you will.
Well, okay.
And I'm bigging it up. And they actually had a very serious bug where it kind of all fell apart occasionally with recalls, I believe they call them.
Yeah, they could just instantly teleport back to base.
Pretty racist, I think.
But it's all fixed now, and those guys
they nearly had no tournament.
Yeah, those guys are doing fine. I think over on Epic Line 4. But either way, we're here with the StarCraft. We're here with our green Terran player up in the top right-hand corner of Iron Fortress. It is Forged Force Gaming's Sluggy.
And his opponent, across the map horizontally, in the pink, representing ECV Pro, GamerDevvo, or Cladoheiser.
Or, as we know him, Warm Dave.
I forgot he was Warm Dave. Why was he even Warm Dave?
I don't know. This was somewhere in the swarm host infested myopia of illness from last Epic Land.
Yeah. I don't remember how we got to Warm Dave. I just know that it's absolutely a thing that happened.
Brilliant.
That was a good time.
Now he's going to get his Overlord Scout sent up in the right position first. Of course, scouting towards this natural base location of Sluggy. He's not actually going to get the extra information from a CC first, because there's not a CC first, but he is going to see Sluggy's gas, which has been taken towards GamerDevvo, and he's going to see his barracks, and should be able to surmise it'll be a Reaper opening. Now, interestingly, from GamerDevvo, he's actually making a bit of a departure from his normal build, and opening up with a gas pool. No hatchet as yet, and you know what, this doesn't lead very well into roaches.
Well, no, let's not be too hasty here. He could still go towards roaches. They just might be off one base, and that's an incredible risk to take. But you could get out a little bit faster.
He's going to build lings in a second.
Yeah, he's stopping his gas at speed time, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Opening speedling is just quite nice because, of course, when you get your fast speed, you have better defense, you have better scouting, you get that early map control. It shuts down Reaper pressure. It's generally just an effective kind of defensive opening. But without that hatch that he needs to get his macro up and established, he is going to cut into his long-term prospects.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult.
Just a little bit.
Now, Sluggy is scouting out with his Reaper now. The Lings are just perfectly timed to avoid that Reaper, I think. The second pair of Lings will get caught by the Reaper. But the other 4 from GamerDevvo are going to make their way across the map. However, the high ground CC from Sluggy is not going to be what Cladoheiser wanted to see here, not at all.
No, if it was on the low ground, of course, could get that pressure in, but the second Reaper's going to be on its way out. Oh, gets a little bit of damage off, but the Reaper's going to keep fighting against it. Nice work out of Sluggy, keeping the Reaper alive. The Lings can do very little at this point in time, but both these units do heal, so it is going to become a bit of a micro battle.
Yeah, to an extent. The Reaper still has a lot faster, a lot more of a mobility advantage for the next 20 seconds, and that's going to be enough when the second Reaper comes in to clear out both of these Lings. Oh, nice use of the little smoke vents, but it's not enough. And just 3 seconds before speed finishes, all the Lings have been cleared up. Now the next pack of 4 Lings should be able to chase down these Reapers, especially if Sluggy doesn't micro against them back.
Well, he is microing against them, pulling them onto the high ground, and of course now seeing that additional wave of Lings coming out to put on a little bit of pressure. So this delayed hatchery from GamerDevvo is going to perhaps not be the end of the world, even with this this CC on the high ground for Sluggy, because he's going to be able to keep that out of getting down, getting the low ground control point for a little while with this limb pressure. There really isn't that much for Sluggy back at home. It's just a wall of 2 Marines at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he picks off a Ling, but if GamerDevvo just keeps these Lings down here, there's no way that Sluggy can actually move that CC down onto low ground until he gets probably 4 Hellions, really. 2 Hellions he can start pushing them down. But Yeah, 4 is going to be the magic number for definitely securing that, but back in the base, yeah, the Reapers are still alive. They picked up quite a few kills here. They haven't been on lanes.
Yeah, well, no, they got a couple of drones as well. Some of them being microed into spores for just a brief period to guarantee their safety, but there was no queen there to defend. So really the Reapers getting in and doing a little bit more damage than you might otherwise expect. 4 drones total killed, not that bad in exchange, especially at this point in the game.
Not at all, and it hurts all the more with the late hatchery that Cladaheiser did take. He's just a little bit delayed in his macro, and every small additional delay on top of that just hurts more and more and more. Interestingly, the factory has actually not gone onto this reactor. The starport is actually the choice on there, so we're not going to see any Hellion play out of Sluggy, it looks like, which is a big departure. Hagens and TVZ are about the most standard thing you can get in any meta in StarCraft. But he has enough Marines to be able to actually push these things away, so he's going to get his natural base established. Running.
Yeah, it was time that he got that, coming towards the 8-minute mark, of course. You really do want to have a second base as a Terran, but a lot of production up for Sluggy now. He's got the medevacs on the way as well. The first medevac is in production as soon as that tiny little supply block finishes, and when he's got that with the stim, he's going to be able to push out and maybe put some pressure on.
Yeah, you should be able to start the pain train rolling towards Eddie Dave, Warm Dave, as some know him. The Baneling Nest is finishing up here, as well as 2 Evo chambers. So he's starting to get to the roll of his Zerg macro, along with that 3rd base. Now, these spawn positions, it's going to be a little bit tough for Cladaheiser to actually take that 4th base over towards the Terran, or down, more likely down here on the bottom left middle side of the map. But either way, it's a very long way by ground from any of the other bases, and with the mobility of Terran can be very difficult to deal with. But speaking of mobility, here comes a drop in towards the main. Okay,
it was in towards the main. Going to stop and do nothing. Then another medevac heading out towards the south. So he's going for 2-pronged drops. No Overlord cover for Cladaheiser, actually. To see, we're going to call him all sorts of different names today, I think.
Oh yeah.
So he's actually got Lings on patrol in the main base, instantly driving that one away. Could see a drop towards the front, but there is a 3rd base, highly exposed, about to finish towards the south, and those Lings are not in the right place to defend that at all.
No, not even slightly, but Lings are pretty fast, although creep hasn't spread there just yet. It's not Marauders in this drop. They're not going to like really punish down this hatchery. Just Marines on 0-0. So Stimpack just now finishing up, but Sluggy's not using it, and yeah, the Lings seem to be enough to be enough.
Drop in the main, suicide Marines there, all being killed for very little return. A few Lings taken out, but the medevac goes home empty.
Yeah, absolutely. Sluggy just with 2 Marines left in this drop and cleaned up. So not too effective there for Sluggy. I actually think that was pretty cost efficient for Cladaheiser, who he has lost tap. Yeah, he's got a really nice advantage in that cost efficiency, but now comes the parade push. Sluggy moving out with mines. Cladaheiser is a decent way off Baneling speed. And despite the equal upgrades, this is a little bit of a threat towards this 3rd base. The creep spread hasn't been great either. Another consequence of the late hatch.
Yeah, you say equal upgrades though, but of course we are going to get the 1-1 finishing up, 1-1 melee finishing up for Edge Dave.
That was a Widowmine hit and a half.
Was it? I didn't actually see what killed them. I assumed it was Widow because I couldn't see anything. So that's the good old things, man. Yes, excellent picking up those morphing ones as well. Lings are being kited. Nice control from Sluggy, means he takes a bit of a lead in that engagement and equalises the resources lost.
Yeah, but now the 1-1 finished up for Edge Dave, and essentially put something, well, much easier cleaning up these Marines now and push them away.
But look, another wave of reinforcements coming out for Sluggy, boosting out in those medevacs, getting ready to put the pressure on. A couple more Marines down towards the 3rd, even as GamerDevvo gets himself a 4th base, or attempts to get himself a 4th base, as these Marines, I think, are going to push down towards that. They're going to see it. As, yep, the medevac's flown over, they see that 4th base on its way. I'm not sure this is going to survive that long.
I don't know. I mean, there's nothing in the medevac, so...
No, I think that's where the secondary push is going to end up.
Yeah, possibly.
Someone's gone into the main now.
Yep, a little bit of a drop in main. 2 Widow Mines over on the right-hand side, quite a little bit of a bastion for these units to retreat to. And looks like that's just exactly what he's going to do.
Well, you know, as long as they don't cut off their own escape, because I did see him position himself between the macro hatch and actually not be able to manoeuvre to quite such an extent as he might have wanted to. But of course, Sluggy now retreating with this unit, he's getting back to a safe position, pulling back a couple of medevacs that he sent out, but in general, nice Terran pressure coming out of him.
Yeah, he's done really, really well with these first couple of moves out, without even being the big parade-style pushes, just small groups of units taking very efficiently generate the drops. By and large, but these Widowmine hits have been extremely good.
Going down in the middle of the map. Oh, the Widowmines. I thought they were going to get picked off by the Banes there. Actually, a bit of sloppy control coming out of Sluggy. He didn't borrow those in any kind of reasonable time, but it was not punished. Callahise are letting that slip, and now a bit of a base established. For Sluggy to pull those Marines back. You do not want to lose your Banelings. Oh! Gets a couple of Lings and Banes with one of those shots. The other one getting a single Ling.
Yeah, the drop went back into the main, but it's actually not doing anything currently. Another Widowmine, 24 kills on this Widowmine in the main base.
Drop in the back of the main base relatedly, picking off a couple of workers there. This was really nice out of Sluggy so far. This is that kind of advantage of not being the known player. Callahise went into this game not knowing what to expect. He had to play defensively, and now he's being picked apart a little bit. Yeah, he is. The first couple of drops when Sluggy really only fielded one or two at a time. Haven't done that much, but now Sluggy is all over the place. There's Widowmines in the main base, there's a drop in the natural, there's a drop in the third, and yes, Sluggy is reinforcing up onto this creep of Callahise. As Sluggy moves over to the fourth base, Medevac's going to get taken out by this Queen, so it will finally get cleaned up. But in the main, there's still more Terran units. So much damage being done. Terran on more SCVs than Zerg has drones, and now relying on the Callahise bank. His money spending has been so good that he really doesn't have that much to speak of. Yeah, he absolutely doesn't. His advantage, though, the 2-2 upgrades coming in just now, that as +1 finishes Sluggy, it doesn't really use that much more of an advantage. And, the splits are sort of there. At least only Lings go down to those Widowmines, but I mean, I don't know how much Callahise has been practicing with Ling Bane Mutual. Certainly not what I know it for. The Widow's going off on the Lings, not as he waits. A massive Baning wave crushing through, killing off a lot of this aggressive force from Sluggy, and suddenly the tide looks like it might be beginning to turn. I don't know, however, there are a few more drones going down in the third base, more pressure coming out from Sluggy. His whole army is never in one place, and we're seeing massive defenses being used to pull out of our Zerg player in order to just stay alive, to stay in the game. The big lead, I think, that Callahise has, except for his upgrades, which are looking quite nice, is the fact that he has that third and fourth base. There is no third base for Sluggy at the 16-minute mark. If we look at the main, it's bordering on mined out at this stage. He hasn't been using his mules that effectively. He needs a third base if he wants to stay in this for any length of time. Yeah, and he's moving out to take it right now. The third orb command has been finished for a little while, and now he's going to take down the Soulblock, but this is actually going to buy Callahise crucial seconds. Sluggy's moving in the middle of the drop. It's not going to be able to do much. He has to move over and find a different place to unload, because this time Callahise were prepared. I think if there's drop in any one or even two locations, he's just too good. Callahise will shut that down. Sluggy's real strength with his drops has been when he's been doing multiple ones at once and just pushing with a parade push somewhere else, or that sort being
of stuff.
All over the place.
Yeah, absolutely. The strong multitasking that make Terran so terrifying.
Yeah, that give Terran their potential to be the strongest race.
Absolutely.
In theory.
Yeah. Sluggy moving in towards this fourth base now, and with the Terrans on, the Marines on 1-1, and with a few extra of them, not going to be long for this world, and it'll just be taken out there very quickly. That's
an important blow as well, because that base has barely been mined from. Getting it at this kind of juncture means that it's not going to go in. Losing a medevac with 7 Marines there. Spore Crawler placed in exactly the right place. A few more going down as well. Not the attack that was really wanted by Sluggy. A little push up towards the top with some follow-up medevacs going in. That was maybe not the attack that our Terran player wanted.
Perhaps not, but in the main base, the drop has been going very, very well. 2 more medevacs coming in to reinforce it, and a nice position between the hatches to lift up before the Banings manage to get in. And yeah, oh man, these Marines have been doing so well. Still trading off against those. The Baning hits are going to be enough to finally clear that out, but you know what? It's the natural base is where it's at now. It's like
the harassment has been on point out of our Terran player. It's a shame we can't necessarily say the same for his macro, because that third base, until extremely recently, has just been floating useless outside on top of that creep where it could not settle. So now Sluggy going to try and land that, but it's not really what you need at this stage of the game when your main base is basically mined out and you're starving slowly to death. If if he gives Klarheiser any edge, he will take it and he will use it to win.
Absolutely. +2 weapons coming in for Sluggy now, helping to equalise the upgrades. And it's only going to be up from Sluggy here. It's not realistically going to see a third, or +3 from Klarheiser for a little while as he runs down these last few Marines in the middle of the map. Sluggy does have a fairly significant army rush, but it's never all in one place, which is actually enabling Klarheiser to pick off little bits of units. But the third base falls, and that is crucial because as much as Sluggy is mined out in the main, it's getting there as well for Klarheiser, although a slightly less economic opening for him, and mules don't enable him to mine out bases as fast as Sluggy does.
Waiting for that drop on the third and the income spike. I think we are very close to that happening. It's a fresh base full of lovely minerals, and you know what terrorists think about minerals. They think, nom nom.
I will ruin that.
Free
The oil industry ruined Alaska. Yeah. But I don't know if Klarheiser is going to allow that to happen. Some nice splits trade off well against these banelings, and Klarheiser really needs the Lings to chase the turn down, actually splitting more banelings roll in towards the third base, but such a good boost hit here for Sluggy. Doesn't quite look like it's enough.
I don't know. He traded really nicely there. There's not a lot left for us though. He doesn't have much money. He forced a lift on that third base, but the Lings are running off home. 14 SCVs picked off, reducing that count to 32. But I'm waiting for the mules. As I've said, the dump has not yet come, and when it does, the mule hammer will strike with a vengeance. Yes. 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
8 out of 8, maybe.
Solid consistency. But for now, Sluggy's moving across the map. And Klarheiser is really running out of steam. His third base has been taken out. GG! Sluggy, unblocking this match, takes game number 1 in our best 3 series in really good dominant fashion. I don't really ever feel there was a position where Klarheiser was going like, yeah, this is my game.
No. Not at any point in the game. It felt like Sluggy was pretty dominant all the way throughout. I got to say that I kind of thought it might not go that way. I've known Klarheiser for a long time. I've had a lot of maybe bias towards him because of that, and I just thought that he'd probably walk it, but maybe not. Maybe that was not the one.
Maybe. Certainly not today. Let's just get Sluggy back into this game. It's going to be Cactus Valley. For this next map, you can join off me, can't you? Brilliant. Sluggy's gone for a little bit of a toilet break, so we're going to have a couple minutes to talk about the map. And Cactus Valley is an interesting one. In a lot of ways, it's quite similar to Iron Fortress because they're both deserty themed maps and they're big Forspawn maps. But the layout is really not too similar. Cactus Valley plays out a lot more similar to Whirlwind in a lot of ways, really.
It looks quite a lot like Whirlwind, actually. Just looking at it in there, you really see the kind of comparison. Whirlwind had more of a spin, because it's a whirlwind, but at the same time, Cactus Valley is like Whirlwind if you kind of took it and unspan it a bit. It just made it more straight line paths through things. And I actually quite liked the non-straight lines of Whirlwind, because it meant there was an interesting dynamic with taking engagements on those slants. So if we look at Cactus Valley here, I want to see how it... there's still a lot of quite tight corners. There's some open space in the middle.
Yeah. But the thing is, if you're cross, unless you're cross spawns, there's not much reason to go through that middle, unless you're trying to get a weird attack angle. All the actions around the outside. That's where all the bases are, and that's where all the action is concentrated. Now, it is a little bit interesting that Klarheiser let this one through the vetoes, although with the map pool as it is, it's difficult to choose what not to veto. But some of the spawn positions are very heavily Terran favoured. If you end up with a lot of the, counterclockwise spawn positions, I think? Yeah, then the Terran has, if the Terran's like, say, top left and Zoe's bottom left, then Terran's got a great drop path onto the natural, decent round drop path into the main, and the fourth base is going to be right next to the Terran's third, like almost on the same screen. So you end up with a really, really strong parade push potential for the Terran player, just straight into the Zerg fourth, and it's just so difficult to secure unless you take the one that's on the bottom right-hand spawn in this hypothetical situation, and then it's just ages away from your third base.
Yeah, I had noticed that looking at it, how it's quite like tight third bases, but because they're so close to each other and they're kind of little plots. I don't think plots is the word I'm looking for. Formations, maybe. it does leave not that much potential for late game expansion, and for even early mid game expansion, there's a lot of harassment potential just inherent to that system.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, if there's one matchup where harass really comes into it, it's Terran versus Zerg.
Absolutely, absolutely.
As we saw in the last game, really,
Yeah.
Terran with medevacs all over the place, drops and drops and drops for days, and that's absolutely what picked Kladahaiser apart. Kladahaiser won most of the engagements, although he never really got to fight the full force, the full army of Sluggy. But
well, when he did, he lost, but that was because it was too late. He didn't
Yeah.
go straight for it. In this game, based on that, we might see a different style come out of Kladahaiser. He now may think he has a feel for how Sluggy likes to play. Sluggy, if he opens with that same style, may feel the retributive hand of an edgy Dave roach push.
quite possibly, that's more what I'm looking for. Although I would have thought, actually,
On
Cactus
this map,
Valley's,
maybe
yeah,
not.
Cactus
Yeah.
Valley's not a great map for roaches. Certainly Iron Fortress is a much better one, but
Yeah. Maybe you should have opened with that and then been prepared to lose the second game.
possibly.
Maybe, I don't know. This is the kind of mind games that can and cannot come into tournament play. We can't tell exactly what those players are thinking, but of course, after, not this game, but the next game, if there is one, or this game, if Sluggy wins, then we'll be able to interview the players and find out exactly what it was they were thinking going into the matchup. They may even lie to us at this stage of the tournament. They may not want to give away their strats at this critical juncture when there's still so much left to come.
Definitely a possibility there.
Mm-hmm.
Cactus Valley is being loaded into right now, and yeah, so here we are. Let's hop straight on into it, and down in the well, up in the top right hand spawn. He actually lost out in the last game. Currently down 0-1. Can he make the comeback? It is EC Visualized Pro Teams GamerDevvo.
A warm welcome to Dave. And in the southeastern spawn, had to think about that for a minute. In the 5 o'clock? 5 o'clock? 5:30 maybe.
5:30.
4:30. I'll call it 4:30. In the 4:30 spawn, representing Forge Force Gaming, in the green, it is the victor of the previous game, Sluggy.
Yes, indeed. A bit more of a newcomer, but proving himself
Yeah, on
to be
the
a threatening
battlefields.
one. Yeah, absolutely. This time, Edgy Dave doesn't quite get that Overlord scout he wants. Sending once more towards the natural, but unfortunately this time that's not actually where Sluggy turns out to be. Because he's down the bottom right, and Rax probably going to be following up for a Reap opening, because he won't Reap his last game, and Reap is a pretty good.
Yeah, that gas
four
following
rounds.
up all but confirms your suspicions, getting it nice and quick to guarantee himself that harassment potential. And of course, on a force bomb map, you do like to have the scouting potential as well. Terran doesn't really want to be sending SCVs out. They send enough SCVs out to just build their buildings, let alone send them out on the map to scout. So, on a map where you don't think you're going to get rushed, maybe not worth the lost money. Instead, get a bit of gas, get a bit of tech potential, and advance towards the mid game in style.
Yeah, and this game, although there was a pool first out of Kladahaiser, he is going to take that the hatchery following up in a much more timely fashion this time. So I think it looks a lot better for him, at least in terms of macro stakes, macro game.
Yeah, no, much more
Going into
conventional kind of style to what we're used to seeing out of him. He tends to go for this opening a lot of the time, hatch first or pull hatch if he's feeling maybe a little more defensive. And it's understandable that he would be feeling perhaps a bit defensive if he did lose the previous game, which of course he did. It leaves him a little bit weaker. Has been found now by that SCV, so the Reapers, when they finish, will be heading straight on over there. Getting the harassment on as early as possible, but the pool will be complete by that stage. The Queen is already building. It's going to leave him with very reasonable defense to deal with that.
Yeah, it should do. Catsfire's got a pretty big rush distance, and he does see with that SCV at least one link being sent out. Considered moving back with the Reaper, but it looks like he's just going to ambush the SCV and pick it off before it can do too much damage to his. Ambush the Zergling before it can do too much damage to their SCVs. CC not down just yet. Oh, there it is. CC just started up Sluggy, let's rescind that statement. On the high ground again. And so, this is interesting. Do you think he's playing things a little bit safe?
I don't know. I think he's doing basically the right things in this stage. I kind of like that the CC forms an extra wall in, which is quite safe. It is naturally a slightly more defensive position that one can take, and it leaves you a bit safer against early game pressure, should you need to defend anything like that. Obviously, hasn't actually seen that much inside of the base of his opponent, but has seen all the very critical things, pool and queen, knows basically what's coming out of his opponent, knows that there isn't anything too aggressive on its way just yet, and this wall in is just a little bit of added safety. When you can lift up your buildings, it doesn't matter that much where you put them down in the first place.
No, very true, but I think one of the main disadvantages of putting the CC on the high ground is actually not the fact that you've got to lift your CC over there. It doesn't take that long. But one of the reasons people stop doing it is because of the threat of the proxy hatches. And that ends up delaying your CC by so long that it ends up being just really difficult to actually move out against it. You get one or two creep tubes down as well, then if you spread them in the right pattern, you can have to use up to 2 scans to cut them out. And when you're on one base, on 2 CC on one base, then you're relying on the power of mules to fuel your economy. You don't want to be using that on scan. So it'd be really interesting to see later on in the tournament whether anybody makes use of that against Sluggy. But for now, it's a little early to say, I guess, as the third base of Cloudheiser goes down.
Coming down to what I would have called a standard time as well, about 6:45, 6:30, getting that down to secure the macro into the mid game. And this has been a much less aggressive style out of both players than in the previous game. Of course, Sluggy was maybe equally aggressive because Terran has quite standardised build orders, getting those Hellions out, but he didn't really bother with Hellions in the first game. Just getting the Reapers and then content to go straight to Marine Medevac with a bit of mine support. Not really using the Hellions that are as ever popular. But now, in this game, maybe a bit more challenging for Cloudheiser, as his Roach Warren is only halfway done. If the Hellions get across the map in time, there won't be Roach defense. But Roaches do build very quickly, so he may take so long getting across, even with that Hellion speed, that the Roaches aren't there in time to defend.
Yeah, it's possible. 5 queens as well, forms a very strong defense. The Roaches will have to be started pretty soon. 4 of them on the way, as well as a Spine Crawler. He's going to need this, because the Armory just now finished up Sluggy, which means he's not just planning on doing a bit of harass with those Hellbats, Hellions. They are going to be morphing into Hellbats, with the Medevac and Marines to follow up too. Yeah, extra Roaches have been started now for Cloudheiser, and that's exactly right. He actually cancelled the Spine Crawler, he's so confident being able to hold it. He's going to be holding his third base, at least to spend 5 seconds. Oh, pick up Medevac.
No more heals for this army, but a scary army it is, even then, with the Queen heals, the Hellbats pushing forward. Roach is doing a good job against it. I think that he's going to hold this, but at the same time, good damage is now forcing out lots of units, and the third base is probably not going to play that. I actually considered that maybe he wanted to focus that a little bit, but as it is, stays alive, the Queen force holds, the Roaches are out, and Edgy Dave looking as good as ever.
Absolutely. Sluggy went for a bit of all or nothing against the actual army of Cloudheiser there, and it ended up being nothing for him. He really only killed off 1 or 2 Roaches. The transfuse energy saved up on those queens was very strong. Another of the advantages of the Roach Hydra style, it doesn't rely so much on creep, at least not the aggressive push out your base creep spread, as obviously Lingbane Muta does. You don't really need to close your opponent because you cannot get kited back forever. And yeah, so the Koreans can save up a lot more of that energy for transfusers, play it a lot safer. GamerDevvo with that Overlord sees all he needs to, namely the fact that Banshee's on the way, and having not lost a queen, man, he's got a pack of 3 queens and an Overseer roving around, scanning for this Banshee, and he should be able to take it out, no problem.
Here she comes. Banshee drifting in. Hasn't been seen yet, but now they know. Tumor taking down, I guess that's nice, but it is kind of free, so maybe not the best use of a Banshee just yet. With the second one on the way, we'll have a nice little strike force going on. Sluggy starting his command center, maybe a little bit later than I would have liked, but at the same time, getting towards it a lot earlier than in the previous game. This is the 10-minute mark rather than the 16-minute mark. So this is when you want to kind of have that macro being established as a Terran player. You want to get yourself into that position where you can move it into the mid game, but you've got to keep the pressure on. Otherwise, Zerg takes the map, as Cloudheiser now trying to do, taking that 4th base. Might even see a move towards a 5th now if he's feeling confident and he feels he's got the money to spare.
Yeah, there is actually even the possibility, if he gets really on top of his creep spread, of him getting creep at this third base, or the third base for Sluggy before he can move out and take it.
Yeah.
And with the fourth base from Cloudheiser coming down before Sluggy's third, we saw that in the last game, but this is a very different situation. This time Cloudheiser's in his element, he's got his Roach Hydra coming out, 2-2s on the way as well. Looks like Mech is going to be the choice from Sluggy with what's the vehicle weapon finishing up. It's a weird kind of Mech Bio mix. He doesn't have any... Oh no, there's the Bio upgrades just now starting. Interesting. So he's got a bit more heavy into Mech, but I guess when he faces off against Roach Hydra, that's sort of how you have to play. You need a bit more the power of Mech units. Just Bio isn't going to cut it, at least until you get straight into the late game. And if Sluggy can survive until then he should be in a pretty good position.
Just got to hold on for that long. At this point, we're seeing the beginnings of army rumblings over on the northeast side of the map. We're seeing Roaches, we're seeing Vipers. Those kind of units are the kind of units you want to be pretty scared of when you're a largely marine-based force. But actually, Sluggy moving slightly towards the mech front of things, adding in those Vikings, good for sniping out the Vipers. We've got a few Hellions, we've got a few Marines, Marauders, Banshees. It's just a really diverse Terran army with a little bit of everything. And how do you counter one of everything, Artosis?
You just got to get one of everything yourself.
That is the way.
Or even better, two of everything.
Oh, that is better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As it stands, I find Sluggy's composition... Yeah, or just Void Yeah. I find Sluggy's composition a little interesting. He is now moving into tanks, but he made quite a commitment towards Thors. I don't know whether this is just insurance against a Mutalist transition, which I don't think is going to come, or whether he thinks the added DPS is really just great against Roaches. It's going to be interesting.
This is going to be a scary attack. GamerDevvo pushing out with 200 supply, pushing straight into this Terran fort, nowhere near the power. All of those Thors gone straight away. GG. GamerDevvo, as I hate saying with my mouth, taking...
Call him Warm Dave.
Warm Dave taking the second game of the series, equalising that score at 1-1.
Looking as dominant in game 2 as Sluggy did in game 1.
More so,
really.
I would say.
Yeah.
There was more clean cut.
There weren't even any, he wasn't ever behind at any point, really. Yeah. He didn't get to do much aggression, but he also just, anything Sluggy threw at him just slid off a smooth bank of Roaches.
Yeah. Like, in the first game, it kind of... I think maybe he was playing a style he doesn't like as much. He was playing with a style he's less comfortable with. He was going, let's play a safe style and see how it plays out. And that just happened to not pay off in the circumstance. Sluggy reading the game, reading the decisions of the player in front of him very well and deciding that it simply was not worth doing. But in the second game, Cloudheiser going, no, you know what? I know what I like. I'm going to do what I want to do now, thank you. And he just did that and it was fine.
Yeah,
he
absolutely.
Put himself in his comfort zone and made his opponent join him there, rather than playing into a tournament mentality.
Yep. Where is Sluggy?
He's coming. I don't know if he is.
I don't know.
He'll be right. He's coming? Did you have him?
Yeah, I just can't find him in the epic.FIFTEEN channel.
My goodness.
My goodness. Oh, Jesus. I'll just send him a message because I can just chat with him.
Mm-hmm. See, this is the kind of situation where you're just thinking, damn, I wish we had an admin. An official rendezvous point. Get in the game, Sluggy. Maybe he thinks that he won both of those.
Maybe.
He's offset. He's standing behind Facebook, like, all right, I'll do my winners interview now.
Maybe he just left the epic.FIFTEEN channel. He is here. Giving him his invite. So when we are ready, then we'll go. And we are ready. So getting things underway very nicely and quickly. And now Coda, the standard map, the overgrowth, if you will, the Belshire vestige of the map pool.
I miss one of those maps. I'm still.
Which one?
It's Belshire.
Really? I miss Overgrowth.
Yeah, I don't want Overgrowth back. I'm done with Overgrowth emotionally.
I think Overgrowth I could stand to see back. I think it was more interesting as a standard map than most of the other ones. It had that goal base and there was a possibility for a couple more unusual builds, but they weren't the dominant force that they were on, say, Habitation Station, where you gang them down. You know, Jason Terminal has a shorter lift-off distance to the goal than Habitation Station.
What? Because that wasn't stupid on Habitation
ludicrous.
Station.
It's, oh my god, the whole... like, there's 3 maps, which would be the ridiculous map in the pool, in this current map pool. There's Jason Terminal, Moonlight Madness, and Bridgehead. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Mm-hmm. You'll know it when we see it.
I do know those map names because I have seen them in the veto lists. So that's my experience with those. But let's jump into this game, which is not on those maps. It is on Coda Ladder Edition, and spawning in the 4 o'clock spawn. I'm in the corner. 4 o'clock spawn, wearing his usual pink, representing really. Wearing his usual pink colours and representing ECV Pro Team, Kladoheiser.
Warm Dave. Off in the top left, the green turn player from Force Gaming. I give you Sluggy.
I'm looking forward to meeting up with Kladoheiser again. He's going to be like, why have you been calling me Warm Dave all day?
Well, he should know. If he said, why have you been calling me Warm Dave all day? Then we'll be like, why have you been on the stream all day?
Yeah.
Warm Dave.
Yeah, that's pretty much the default response. By this point, I think we know him well enough to give him a reasonable amount of stick.
Well, if we don't, then it's a really awkward situation.
Yeah, true. We would have overstepped our social boundaries massively. As indeed I think I've been doing for the majority of the land, but in a good way, not in a bad way.
I managed to avoid...
Did you see my 6 slam dunk?
No, oh yeah, I did see a 6 slam dunk.
Yeah, I think a lot of people saw that 6 slam dunk actually, because I got some fucking strange looks from around the hole.
When I was very tired yesterday, having come off casting ASL and then DreamHack and then setting up Epic Land, and I was talking to somebody and they had a cold slice of pizza on their plate. Just they were obviously not eating it, but probably saving it for breakfast. And I spent so long just staring at it and going, should I ask for their pizza? I want that pizza.
I told you
it would be rude.
I told him at like 9
o'clock I've met this person
to go and
before.
get food. No, I've done that before. I asked a man if I could use his favourite hitting sticks at a hitting sticks convention.
Well. I mean, that's not exact. I don't think that's as bad because it doesn't literally consume the hitting stick.
It's true. It could have done if I broke it.
That's true.
But what I actually did was stand in the hall grinning at people who were vastly more superior, going, "Look what I've got!
I've got a stick.
2 of them! Oh, it was a good day. A very good day.
A man with 2 sticks is happier than a man with no stick. This is an ancient Chinese proverb.
That's less true. But so Sluggy going for the exact same opening that he's gone for in the previous game. Same indeed for Kladoheiser for GamerDevvo. Getting himself that pool, then hatch, getting the queens out nice and early, ready for defense, and there is a slight difference in build this time.
There is a defining feature of Sluggy's build, and that is actually managed to get a bunker down in Kladoheiser Natural. This is going to be, to say the least, very annoying. A third Reaper on the way. We might even see a 4th following it up from Sluggy. Just because, you know what, once you've got a bunker down, you might as well stuff it full of Reapers.
It's true.
Looks like we're not going to, and it's just going to be Kladoheiser being kind of annoyed with the fact that the bunker finished, and these Reapers popping into it and out of it. Looks like, it's just going to get salvaged, but it's forced out all these lanes that Kladoheiser really didn't want. He doesn't want them. Like siblings.
Yes. That's actually then you get the Nikes and they become speakers.
Exactly.
You know, those light up trainers and stuff.
Yeah.
I kind of miss that. Someone was talking the other day about why don't they have those for adults. And I was thinking, you know what? I don't know. Maybe there's a market.
There's a market, yeah.
Yeah, there's a market. No one steal my business ideas, guys. Okay. I know they're really good, but just don't get on that. I need to get on that. I've got to make my fortune somehow. So, looking at a 3cc follow-up from Sluggy, getting the additional one in his main, almost complete, another one starting, factory follow-up. This is a greedy build, and you've got to wonder whether Kladoheiser, having taken 2 gases in the natural, might be heading towards a roach push to follow up this potential cheesing. This looks a bit roachy, and you know what happens when things look a bit roachy and Terran's gone 3cc.
That is true, but it would be a very early roach push. Like normally, I think you take you take the gases around the same time you take your third base. If you're going for like, you know, the Hyun style Roach King builds, but with a lair coming for Cladahaiser, I'm inclined almost more towards 2-base Muta. But let's see, there 2 Evos have come down at the front. No Roach Warren as of yet.
Yeah, that lack of Roach Warren. That's kind of weird, actually. Oh, no, it's not. No, it does look a bit neutery. Right, I thought, why don't you get 2 Evos?
He's not got that 4th gas, though.
No, that's the thing. Like, there's the Roach Warren. There's the Roach Warren.
Oh, okay.
Okay, if there was a 4th gas, I'd be yelling Roach Knives right now.
Yeah.
As it is, when can you get Burrow? Or we might just be able to push with speed on +1, like Hyun used to do.
Maybe. Hyun usually went for a bit more of econ behind it, whereas
Yeah.
like, I guess given the kind of slightly odd timings of having had to build a bunch of lings, it's not that off schedule.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Like,
Yeah.
a little bit late. This is just a slight deviation from the plan because he was put off a bit. There's the third base coming down a little bit late, but not too late. This is just a backup. This is, let's call it a 7:30 instead of an 8:30 third. So if he follows that up, then he's going to have this kind of potential to do what you'd expect at this stage. Queen's pushing out. Looks like these guys are trying to establish third base, which is quite cool. And what that looks like is a lack of third base to Sluggy, but he may still suspect that there is one down towards the southern position.
Possibly. This would be the more normal position to take the third base as well, given that obviously you don't want to be right. The Terran will usually take their third forward in a TVZ, and you don't want to be taking your third forward into it because Terran takes it so they can prey push from there, and you don't want to give them the advantage of a nice juicy parade push target.
Yeah, of course, it does have the slight counterpoint that, of course, you could then push back off your own third base with the swifter reinforcement time. But I agree with the general decision that Terran's reinforcement is much scarier than Zerg's reinforcement in some ways than others. Terran has that kind of
in the parade style, definitely.
Yeah,
in the like waves
style.
and waves. That's what Zerg does, and Terran does that.
Zerg is like the sea in that it crashes over you in massive, like, big waves, and Terran is like a river in that it floats constantly.
Interesting. What's Protoss? It's a river,
It's like
but
it's like
it's a river
tsunami.
filled with bullshit.
No, it's like tsunami.
Oh, okay.
Like, there's absolutely nothing, and then it all turns up in your base at once.
That's true. Yeah. Because you've let a proxy nexus get up and they use
this makes a disturbing amount of sense.
Actually, this is we might be on something here, boys.
Yeah, I think that we may have just shaped the meta. So we're seeing general establishment of this third, not a big all-in out of Cladahaiser. If he does go for the Roaches to follow this up, yes, Roach Hydra with Infestor, so maybe Roach Hydra Viper?
No. Yeah, Roach Hydra Viper. No Infestors.
No, he's getting Infestation Pit.
Yes.
But I said the wrong words because I was just seeing things on the screen. Yeah, I kind of like this. Of course, we could probably be told it was Roach Hydra Viper with the upgrades coming in as well.
True, or the fact it's Cladahaiser. I think that
that's
game
also
one is the first time I've seen him play Lingbane Muta since like Dreampool, before Dreampool even. And I mean that was what, like
it was the
November, October, November. It literally killed my life. Before Dreampool, I was like Masters level now. I would have patched Masters in Dreampool because Masters is like 8% now or something.
Oh damn!
Yeah. And now I'm trash.
Oh no! Now all is Passion Stone, card passion.
Oh god. But yeah, a little bit of a push coming in here should be cleaned up pretty easily here by the 1-1 Roaches of Cladahaiser as 1-1 just finishing up.
This led the Roaches following the army across the map.
Dangerous.
Going to need to catch those in the main, but there is a reinforcement wave. Oops, nice reinforcement presence of mind out of Cladahaiser. Knows where his forces are going to be and where his opponents are going to be at the right times to deal with the harassment correctly. Now pushing back across the map, going to be pushing into the natural with the Roach Force, picking off the Marauder, but I don't think he's going to be able to make a real go of this because the Terran Force and the reinforcement is just too strong. So nice drop going into the fourth base as well though. Might be able to do a little bit of damage, weaken that, soften it up in time for a strike force later.
Yeah, definitely. I think it might actually almost be able to kill it off. The Roach coming Queens will catch it. Yeah, boom.
There we go.
But it hops back up in the main. Roaches are awaiting its return though already. However, this is the parade push. Pushing into the soft and spongy third base now. The force in the main has been picked off. 12 Hydras are on the way. And that'll add the second key, the second piece of the puzzle for GamerDevvo / Etc's big Roach Hydra Viper army. Third piece is also on the way in the form of just a single Viper, interestingly. He has changed things up a little.
Get himself. I like the fact that he's mixing Vipers, to be honest, 'cause if nothing else, you can use Blinding Cloud.
Yeah,
you
but
can cause a bit of bias play.
just the one Viper is interesting. That's going to give you 2 Blinding Clouds in a fight, which, I mean, I guess it gives him a slightly earlier timing with more Hydras maybe, but most Roach Hydra Viper players, I think, go for like 3 to 4, but maybe I'm just really out of date with meta. See aforementioned.
Am I right in thinking that, what's it called? Gamerheart pings when Marines load into medevacs?
It's when a medevac, or when any dropship is fully loaded.
I like that is a thing. That is cool.
It's cool.
That's
why I insist on having the maps made with Gameheart.
You hear that, players? Make your stuff in Gameheart.
Yep.
God.
Misrallying their bloods.
Yes, they suicide overlords running in there trying to do some damage to themselves and succeeding by dying to the guns of the Marines.
Emo overlords. The 5th base from Calahoe is going to get taken out. Very hot route to punish the Marines there. Taken out. Ooh, kills the dropship as well. Bada bing, bada boom. Hydralisks, they are pretty good at shooting things.
So I've heard and seen with my eyes. They run in there. Gone. That's the noise it makes.
Yep, that's pretty accurate.
And to think they wanted to make them 25 gas.
Ah, the dream.
No, not the dream. That's a bad dream. That is a nightmare. Goodbye for us now. Yes, that Blinding Cloud's getting that tiny little advantage for the Zerg in just a moment. Terran pulling back now, trying to get the concave. I actually think this engagement seriously favours Sluggy, but still,
just too many.
Yeah, the engagement looked good. He had the concave, but there's such Roach Hydra now attacking.
Yeah, just a bit on the right hand side. But now as Cladahydra repositions his concave, and that is it. GG. After a strong game 1 showing from Force Terran, Cladahydra shows why he's the number 2 seed and smashes it back with his more comfortable Roach Hydra style.
Yeah.
Now, I believe we're going to be setting up an interview with Cladahydra pretty shortly on the floor, but
like I think I was right about kind of what he wanted to do, clashing with what he thought he should do in the situation where you find yourself kind of going, okay, I should play in this style because it's more safe. But when you play to a style you're comfortable with, everything's better, everything flows more nicely, you just feel better. You're in that ladder stage where you're just like, everything takes a lot. Rather than, oh, well, I've got myself in a totally different position, and you're at 7 minutes thinking, where the hell is my gas? Because you are at a different stage in your builds where you're comfortable with.
Yeah, I mean, if obviously like he's a grandmaster, he's going to be pretty comfortable with just about everything. But
bit better
if you just flow so well with Roach Hydra Viper, it will whatever it is you're comfortable with, whatever it is you're used to, it just goes from one point to another, and you know exactly how to react. Whereas maybe Cladahydra doesn't feel entirely comfortable knowing, you know, against the slightly more horizontal, slightly more multi-pronged style, playing against that with Lingmei Muta. He also, interestingly, never mixed in Mutalist, which is something I'd really like to hear his thoughts on, because I feel like Mutalist, one of the big reasons you mix them in Lingmei Muta is drops. You stop those medevacs, shut them down, and he actually never managed to you know, add that final key, that final piece of the puzzle. But
he was feeling good.
Yeah. Here we have, he's ready for the interview, I'm hearing, so we're going to bring you over to the land floor, an interview with Cladahydra with FaZe, so enjoy.
Hello. All right, we've got it back. We've got it back. All right, and I'm here with Cladaheiser, who lost the first game and went and came back in complete convincing fashion. He's going to. I'm like, how did you feel in that first game? You lost the first game due to some cheese that went wrong.
Yeah, what happened was I kind of thought he'd go CC first because that's what we always did in practice, and then I literally just 14-14'd him because I wanted a really free win. Like I'm proper tired. I've only slept like 5 hours because the sleeping room is like, I've got no camping mats, so like I just slept right on my back on the floor. It's proper uncomfortable. And then so I thought I'd get a free win. And then it didn't go my way in short, but he went like everything that could have went to counter it. You know, CC on the high ground, SUV scout on a 4-player map. It made me feel pretty bad. It's always annoying when you're like losing versus an underdog because it's like they've got less pressure than you to win, and it's like it's a bit annoying. But ultimately, I came back. So I kind of just try harder the next 2 games, and I know he has trouble versus Roy Charger, so I just do that and win.
Yeah, well, it's sort of worked out not in his favor playing those practice games to you. Like, you know, it allows you to get along with his style. Like, was this before the brackets were released, or was this?
This was like a week ago.
This was like a week ago. Oh wow! All right, and I'm like, all right, Trigger has a question for you. Why did you never make any mutalist in game 1?
Because I never felt like I had the economy to. Like, I thought I only make mutas when they're on 3 bases, and he never went to 3 bases, and I was searching the map forever. Like, he had a ninja base, he had a ninja base, he had a ninja base, because he kept making units all the time on 1 base or 2 bases. And I was already behind enough. I thought I just had to overpower him, Blink Bane, which is what happened in the end. I mean, not what happened, I didn't overpower him, but I did almost break him, but it's because I engaged far too early. Like, I need to defend and get spores and just stop the drops in my main before trying to go kill him, because I lost probably in excess of like 60 workers that game to drops, which is just too much. You're gonna lose.
Yeah, I mean, those Widow Mine shots were killer shots. They were the money shots.
Some of them I micro pretty well, but like, ultimately.
All right, and I guess we're finished here. Are we, Trigonal? All right, and we're gonna go to Croesus versus AC right now. Before we start, who do you think is gonna win?
I think AC's going to win the first game, and then Cal's going to just completely crush him in the second. And then the third game is going to be a massive drawn-out macro game, and it's going to be great. And it's going to have Infested Broodlord and everything.
Sounds amazing. The dream. Well, thanks for the interview. Well, like I'll see you around. We'll probably end up I believe we're casting your game later versus Gamer Richie. So yeah, I'll see you around. Maybe if you win against Richie, it's gonna. Oh, the confidence coming here. You shall beat Richie. All right, man. Cheers for the interview. I'll see you later. Bye.
All right. Thank you very much, FaZe. And, of course, big congratulations again to Cladaheiser, victor of our first game. We are already in the lobby. Yeah, it's going to be Coda. The players made the lobby, and they made it with